Welcome back everyone. Today we're in the Giants Editor, the 10.0.8 version for Farming Simulator 25. I'm Jewel, and as you can see we're on the Jewel's Peaceful Valley map, and we're working on the Sawmill again. Now on the previous Sawmill from the very beginning, when I first started doing the Farm Sim 25 ones, we did this with the Placeable toolkit, but now we're just going to redo it with the other one. And so I'm just going to show y'all the other way. That way y'all have a video of it instead of just the toolkit one. So at least at the doing of this video, okay? So as you can see, we got a little bit more molding to do. We got to make whatever we decide to do with this, but bring in your building. So what you're going to do is, if you're brand new and you don't know anything about the game, you need to go watch the beginning tutorials on how to get the mod map, how to get stuff in your map. But briefly, you can just go to your main game, wherever that is since wherever you installed your game app. Mine's in D drive, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, Farm Sim 25, Data, Maps, Maps US. And in this case, you would double click on Map USI 3D, double click it, and then pick the one that you want to open it in, which would be the newest Giants Editor. Click OK. It'll open the map. I'm not going to do it. Let it do its thing. Be patient. Wait till it loads. It takes a second sometimes. Once in the map, pretend you're in the map now. Pretend you're in the Riverbend map. Then come under Map, click it, then click Locations, then click Buildings. There won't be but one buildings in there. And then you'll click whichever one the Sawmill is under, which would be Production Points. And then you would open Production Points, and then you would see the Sawmill. Okay, then you would, if you just want the Sawmill and nothing else, then you would hit File, Export Selection with Files, and then go to wherever your map is and make a folder within your Map US thing and put it there. If you want all the buildings, you would click this one, and it would get all the buildings in that group, just that productions area group one, and you would do the same thing. File, Export Selection with Files, go to wherever your map is. Mine's in Documents, My Games, Farm Sim 25, Mods, my map name, Maps, Maps US. Make a new folder, title it Production Points Area, like that, on the new folder. Then open the new folder. Once you open the new folder, when you make the new folder, it'll look like that. Then you open it, it'll be empty. This one won't be here yet. You type it out, the same thing right here in the file name box. Hit save and yes, and then it will put that there. So then I'm going to cancel. You hit save, yes, and yes to both questions. Then you're going to come back in here. You do the same if you were just getting this one or any one of the ones you want. Then you're going to come back in here, click File, and then hit Import. Once you hit Import, it's going to come right back to whichever one you were working on last. And if you had already changed from that one, you need to go back and find it. Documents, My Games, Farm Sim 25, Mods, your map name, Maps, Maps US. Go find the production point area that you brought and then click it, or go find the Sawmill area if you named one Sawmill and just was a separate building, and then bring it in. Hit open, it brings it in. Okay, so once it's in, it's going to drop it to the bottom of the list. You can hit the middle scroll wheel on it while it's highlighted, whichever one you did bring in, and drag it up to wherever it needs to go. So the production points area would go in a buildings folder. So if you didn't have all that, you need to make all that. So a locations folder, so you would click create, transform group, then you would come over to this box over here after you make the transform group, and it would say transform. You would type out locations, make another, then create another transform group, come over here to the new transform group where it says transform, and type buildings, just like you see it in my list. And then you would take your buildings, you would click on buildings, it'll be all by itself at that point, and then hit the middle scroll wheel and hold it down and drag it up to the locations one. Then you would take the locations one and hold it down and drag it into the map one. Then you would make a production point area if you don't have that, or if you just brought it in like the whole thing, then you would have it, and then you would just click middle scroll wheel on it and drag it into the buildings folder or the transform. Alright, and then if you just did the sawmill and you needed to make a production point area, you just create another transform group, title it production points area, and then drag it into the buildings folder. So highlight it, middle scroll wheel, hold that down, drag it into the buildings thing, let go. Then you would do the same for the sawmill that you brought in. You would hit the middle scroll wheel, drag it into the production points area that you just brought in. Okay? Then you're going to hit save, in between times, or wait until you move the building or whatever. And if you just did the sawmill, you can go ahead and hit Control B as in boy, left mouse click, put it wherever you want it, twist it around, get it situated. But what I would suggest is if you're bringing it in the whole thing like I'm saying, you need to be able to have all the stuff that they had land in such a way as theirs did. So that takes a little bit of work, and you're going to have to leave your map open from where you exported it, your Riverbend map. So basically you're going to jump back, since we just did all that from your Riverbend that you were in, back to your map when you import it, obviously. Okay, so when you're in here, you're going to be molding the ground. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, I have water here. So you would drag this place over here and think, it's got to line up in such a way. And if you're adding the railroad track to it, which I did, I had to make sure that was going to hit right and the water was going to hit right for these logs. You see? So what I did is I looked into the Riverbend map, and I looked at the height of the water to the log, and I said, okay, I need to make sure that wherever I put the building, the logs hit that water line. And that's what I did. So I had my water already decided, and I opened this piece up because it wasn't here. So I knew that I was going to have to come in right where this is, because it will show you this little piece here, so you'll know kind of what. You'll see this piece, so you'll know where to bring your water. You'll bust this ground down. And so what you'll do is make sure you're already done your water height, and as soon as you got it, you're going to come down to the water level like this, somewhere where you can see one of these logs, and whatever one you looked at in the Riverbend, that's what you're going to focus on. You're going to turn towards your little gizmo, and you can go down or up until it hit the water that you have hits that log the same way the Riverbend does. Now, you're also going to have to twist it in such a way that you can have either a railroad track. You got to look at your ground and see if you're going to be able to do that. How's it going to go? What's the levels? You can always make your ground go up or down, but you can't make certain things go below water, so you got to check all that. And then I ended up making my railroad track come across here, so I had to make my ground work to it, and I made the water work to this area. I decided, well, I already had water out here and it curved here, so I just brought it on in. Okay, and I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do on this side. I hadn't decided, and that'll have to be all molded. Now, if you're new and you're not sure exactly some easier ways of molding, you can do the add and like all of the normal stuff, and you can see here we got to lift this up just a hair because that's floating, but everything else is pretty much there. I made sure I already did it. So basically I can show you on this one, but on your height you're going to have it on, say you could either use add, subtract, smooth, replace, but I usually use replace and smooth. So replace on the left mouse and smooth on the right, and then you're going to take and make a new transform group like so. Okay, click it, it comes up down here. Then it's highlighted. You're gonna come down to say whatever piece you're working on. Say you could be working on this log, and you could say, well, I got to get this log ground to that log, and then you're gonna move to the next one and the next one and so on. And then each piece that you see around this whole thing, you're gonna be moving the ground to that level. So you would hit Control B as in boy, left mouse click, right at the bottom of that log, and even if it was floating. So try to line it up. Lift it up a hair if you had to, and then that gives you the numbers in the middle. Translate Y box, right click, hit copy, come down to replace in the sculpting mode area, click on it, right click, and click paste. that gives you this level for this log, at least on this corner. This side slants down a little bit, so you'd have to go on the other side and do half of the log down a little lower. Or you can sometimes hit smooth and just get that last little bit, so you don't always have to do the transform group on some parts after you've gotten a little bit of height there. So then you're going to turn on your terrain sculpt mode, and you're going to press the left mouse button and gently go about halfway here, and it'll bring the ground right up to that dot so that this sets on the ground. So we'll do it right here since it needs it. Control B, left mouse click, and you can put it a little higher if you want, or however, wherever you want this dirt to land, and you can just stick it wherever it is. And sometimes it's good on these to go a touch higher, because you're going to smooth a little bit around it, and then that'll bring it kind of on down to the spot. So you can hit the translate Y, right click copy, come to replace, right click paste, and then back up a hair, kind of where you can kind of see what's going on, and then hit the sculpt mode, turn it on. It's going to take mine a second. It always does. I don't know if everybody else does, but mine does. So it takes a second for mine to come on. And then I can just gently bring this up, and I'll come a little further because I'm going to have to smooth it. Okay? A little further back, because when I smooth it, and I'm going to try to stay away from this piece when I smooth it. Smooth all the way around with my right mouse button and get the rest of it looking nice without messing with where we lifted it. And then if you double click on the paint one, it turns off faster than if you just click once on the sculpt mode, and I'm going to show you why. When I turn on the sculpt mode, see, watch it take a second. It's going to take it a second to do it. Now, everybody's may not be doing this. It might be my computer. I have no idea. See how it's spinning? And then now watch when I click it off, it's going to take time to do that. Watch it. It's not going to just turn off. Watch it. See, it's still on. It's still on. If I was to click, I would jam up. See it? Spinning, all that. But when I click on the sculpt mode and then I get ready to cut it off, if I'll double click the paint one, it instantly gets it off really quick without so I don't know why. It works. So I'm going to double click this and it's just off instantly. I have no idea, but that's just my workaround for it. And you can see here, we might want to smooth that a little more. See that? So you can see, just work it however you need to do it. But pretty much that's good. I'm not going to worry about all the smoothing stuff, but you get the point. And you got light poles behind us that we need to get all those kinds of things done. So I'm going to just tap a little bit. And then you can click back on your left mouse button if you got to touch that piece back up a little. Alright, so then we're going to turn that off. And then again, here's a light pole, so you need to do them if you've done it like I had said and brought that whole thing in and you didn't do a custom one. Okay, and then everywhere that you have these things, see that one's floating slightly. Control B, left mouse click, click the translate Y, copy height, come to replace, right click and paste. And then you could use add and then smooth. Everybody's different, so whatever you decide to do. So it's up to you. But the worst part is I hate how it takes so long for this to come back open. So I just like to go a little further than whatever I'm doing, because when I smooth, I don't want it to mess up the thing I actually just did. Get both corners and we're good. Turn this off. And there you go. It got it to the level. So that's what you need to do, and go all around the map. You need to click it here, click it wherever you need to click it. Okay, and this piece in the game came down, so I went ahead and let it come down. It's up to you what you do on some of it, but just click it at these end pieces. Click the transform group there. Get the numbers, same thing. You can see some of these need some more work over here. I didn't see that wasn't low enough, so those need work too. I guess we'll do one more just to show. Make sure that's on highlighted. Do your Control B and get your transform group there. Right click, copy height, and then left click, right click, and paste. And then it's gonna be hard to see this one, because if you move you can't really see it good, but I'm gonna try to get it where y'all can see it. and then click your sculpt mode, and then you can get this little piece of ground back up around this, and then I got to get a little bit here, and then we'll be pretty good. But you can see there's a lot of, now that you're going to have, whoop, I accidentally clicked something. Be careful about that, because when you right click it does do that. So you need to steer clear of that one spot because of that. But we can click right past this green on this part and hit Control R, and it'll drop it so that when you bring it over here and left click again to replace, you'll get just at that level. Then that gives you the level where it brings this piece up. And if it's still not exactly where you want it, bring it down a little with the smooth on your right mouse button, and then click Control R again and grab a new number. See, that's coming up too high, so I'm going to go a little lower, and then hit Control R again and try to get it where it stays. There we go, and it stays. So you just keep finagling with it, and then turn this off because we got to be able to see, and we got to see this piece. So let's back up a little this way. I thought I had already got these pieces, but apparently not. So let's left click here and get this last little bit. Don't go too far because you're going to go out into that water piece. You need to stay really far back and go very small as best as you can. Real careful right here, because if I look on the other side, it's going to show it in the water. So you're wanting to be very careful here. Alright. So now if I take you out on that other side, we'll have to see if it's close. It might not be right there. Some of them are, but that one looks okay. So it didn't affect it. Alright, so basically you're going to come all around, up the fence, put the transform there and there and there, all the way around, mold everything the way the end game is, or at least in a way that looks decent to you, where these logs cannot have ground under them, right there, and everything, that these line up at a way that, and all that good stuff. So now you're going to come on this side and get these things in. You can see that one ain't perfect, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And get all this stuff where it makes sense. And then as long as you got your water right, obviously you need to be watching this when you do it. Make sure this lands on your water just right too, not just your logs and all that. And then you can build your say you had a little water here, you can just build that little piece so that this can sit on the ground, and just mold your ground at those kind of levels and make it look how you want. And of course this water needs to go far enough back that this thing here has water that comes, and you got to put your ground down low enough, see. And then, but you got to be careful because of these sides right here. If you push it too far, then it jumps out into here, and it's hard to get it just right. Then it knocks it down here when you move it from here. So be real careful there. Then you got these. That's kind of tough. We got to try to fight with this a little more. And then this is up against there. Now they had some different things on theirs. You can look at end game and see what they did there. So to know what you decide to do with that. But I just, for now, just got it like this. I hadn't molded it all. I hadn't finished this area just yet. But you get the point. You got these light poles you got to make sure touch ground. You got this piece right there. You got to make sure this hits this, which I never fully finished. And then of course if it's in here, you can't let the ground, you got to clear enough ground out of here, but you got to be careful because when you do, it gets it away from here like that piece. So when I put that back, I got to watch it because it can come down here and mess up down here. So it's just a finagling you got to be doing. So I still ain't finished with this area or what I'm going to do with it. Okay? And I'd have preferred if this would have been at a different angle. And the train track was what the problem was, and I really didn't want the train track going this way, even though I would have wanted that road going more of an angle this way. So you really got to think about it, and remember, you're going to have to do this piece before your train track, and all the buildings that have train track pieces, get them set up with the water and the ground level for your train to make it work right. Otherwise, if you do your train first, you'll mess up and it won't be able to set your building the way you need it to. But anyway, you just clear all the ground, make it all flat, put the transform group, at the end of all these things and make the ground touch where that makes sense for them, like they're sitting on the ground. You're going to go do the same here on these pieces, and it looks like I made mine a little, well, no, it's decent. You got to make it where the cones make sense because they're sitting on the ground, so that's what I went by. And you can just go up here, you're going to smooth the little slope to come up here, and then do the same here. They got these all weird, so I had to make it match. And then it's a slope, so you got to make all these match. So that's what I did, and then it kind of looks like the end game. So if it just depends on how you're doing it, and then you got to hit your track a certain way that it can connect to this piece. Okay, and that's what I did. And now we're going to do the XML work after you do all your molding and everything, because you still got this sign. You got a sign over here, and you're going to have to make some sort of road come in if you're going to use any of it, like I say. And you'd mold it to touch that, then you can make your road come however you want. It don't have to be exactly like the end game, but you can, you can build your ground and make it do something a little different, even though you still have the basics of it, Alright, so now it's time for us to do the XML. And we're going to go ahead and get that done. And one more quick thing before we do. When you're building this ground up here, make sure over here and all the places wherever you're going to spawn at, you need to make sure the ground is built up right there. That there's not some hole that you would fall through, because this concrete's not going to do it. And you're going to have the ground built up to there so that it don't drop you through. Okay? So make sure that the ground is built up under this building. Alright, then hit save. So since we did a little work, I'll hit save. And then I'm going to show you how to get the XML in. And again, I did it before in this step 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth series. But we used the Placeables toolkit, and this time we're not. So that's the only difference. As soon as it saves, we'll head off and do it. And then we'll show you how to do it in game. Now, if you don't have the power tool thing where you can throw some logs in here to test it, you need to go ahead and put some trees nearby here. And also, don't forget that in previous episodes I explained that my farmland is set up so I can do all this without having to. I hadn't done my farmlands yet, except to do it enough. Like when I did my blank map, you'll see, I believe I went ahead and did it when I showed the blank map video, to get the farmland where you could test without having the farmlands finished yet. So I believe that's the one I did that on. If you need to understand, if you're having errors like, oh, something about farmland or something else, go watch that video, and then that way you can paint your farmland at least enough and set it up just enough without doing all of them, because you don't know where everything's going to go yet. So set it up so that you can at least test these XMLs in game. It's my point. So the farmland on mine works because I did set that up in previous, but I ain't gonna do it on every single video because that would take too long. Alright, it's still saving. You see how long it takes. It's ridiculous. Alright, and that transform group, when you're done with it, you could delete it or leave it and use it to mold more areas later. So don't worry about it. Clean it up later if you have to. Alright, because it's not gonna hurt anything being there. Now, we're going to go ahead and set up the thing. Go into your Placeables XML in your main game. So wherever your main game folder is, and you had went to this one, remember when we opened it, and you opened your map i3D? So you should already be in this folder. If not, go back through all those things that we did at the beginning. D drive, Steam library, common, FS25, data, maps, so on. Come to config in your wherever you installed your game at. Go to Placeables, right click, and edit with Notepad++. Come in here and find the Sawmill. So here's the Sawmill right here. You're going to left click at the end of it, hold down the left mouse button and drag over and highlight all three of these things where you get the map icon and the unique ID, which is going to tell where that building has been put on your map. Now you're going to right click on the gray area, copy, and then left click, just get it back off of there. Go to your map, wherever your map is, go to your config file. And here's my map and farm documents, Uh, let me just take you there so if y'all confused. Documents, my games, FS25, mods, and my map name, maps US. Make sure you're going in the right map, config, and then placeables, right click, edit with Notepad++, come to the bottom of the list or wherever you want to put it in the list if you're putting it in a certain area. So if you needed it up here, you would click there. If you needed it higher, you would click there. You just make sure you don't break up this picture here from this other stuff. You know, you don't want to bust it loose in the middle. You want it to be underneath whatever pair of these that you have. Like that one, you would click to the end. Like this one, you would click to the end of the purple, the very last one. Okay, so we're going to click down at the bottom because I'm not worried about where it goes right now, and hit enter, then left mouse click, right mouse click, and paste. And then you got it in there. Now you have your picture. This is going to be your icon that you see, the picture of the building. And if you go to this place, data, placeables, map US, Sawmill, map icon, you'll see the picture of the map, Sawmill. And this is your i3D. It's going to show where your building is now, because even though it's the same Riverbend ID, it saved it to that i3D in your map, so it will take it to the right place. Now hit save. Now we're going to check a store item. So you're going to go to the main game, wherever that is, which you should already have it open. Also, for the new people, right click on the File Explorer, click File Explorer, and then you'll open a new File Explorer. And you can take that one to whichever path you need it to be in. So if you wanted to go to Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, FS25, Data, Maps, Maps US, config, and then the store items, you can have one open there and one open on your main game, like your map you're working on. So you can have two open so you can jump back and forth. So right click on the store items, edit with Notepad++, come in here and find your Sawmill. Here it is. If you have a blank store items area, you need to come get this, left click, drag over, right click, copy, then go put it in your store items XML blank area and hit save. If you did what I said that I did, is I had left this whole store items the same way in my map and only changed the ones that I actually customized, which was the train system, the selling station point, selling station train, and the selling station vehicle. Those are the only ones I changed so far. So those are the only ones that I had to change the path to. So you can leave the rest the same if you're not going to be changing any of the buildings. So if you did change a building, you would be needing to put this XML in your map and all the updated changes you made, and then put the path that you had put this XML in your map, and then hit save. So basically, since I didn't change it, I don't have to do it. If you did, you need to do it. So we'll just go to mine real quick in the store items and open it, and you can see I don't have to change it because it's here right there, so I don't have to do anything. But if you do, just paste it, just click behind this and hit enter, and then right click at the beginning and hit paste, and then hit save if you took that one line. And as you can see, I got maps US train system, maps US placeables, selling station train, and then maps US config, selling station vehicle. And that's the only ones I changed because that's the only ones that's got that XML put in my map that I changed. The rest are going to call from the in-game, main game map, and then it makes a better quality on the game because it's not loading up your map with a bunch of file size and all. It helps. So just save it and ready to go in game. Check it out. So we can open the game, go and have a look. You can see I hadn't even opened it today, so let's jump in and see how we did. Appreciate everybody. We're trying to get all the XML work done so we can move on to some other things. So I'm just trying to get all that done. We're going to be moving on to some road stuff. We're going to have, the water we got to do later on. The water I try to wait till the latest as possible, because I don't know how I'm going to mow my ground, and if I can just make my water go that way without making more water, I'd rather it just be kind of, one shot. So I'm going to be making that probably in Blender and do it that way, and then I'll most likely show a video of that, so stay tuned for later on. and we'll be moving along. Alright, we still have a lot to do though, so we're trying to move. There we go. Get in the map. Go test it out. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate everybody. Watch the other videos. It does help the channel grow. And I do thank you. And hopefully you can find some information that will help you in your map making journey. Alrighty then, let's jump in the game. Hop in. Alrighty then, let's go back and see how we doing with the sawmill. Where is it? Down here. Oh, I passed it. Here it is. Now we're going to hit visit, and then we're going to borrow the money. And remember, make sure that this here is built up underneath the ground so that you can stand on this spot here, and you can see how everything you need to build all the way up under here. Make sure, because if you don't, you won't be able to walk on here properly. Okay? And as you can see, we can run on down here, and you'll see all the icons and things. There's the thing up here to sell. Here's where you load and lay the wood at, and then you got the water with the logs. You can hear the water. Got a little tugboat thing, and there we go. So we're gonna move on back over here. Now you can see here that you got to mold this ground to touch all this stuff. So make sure you look at all that in the Giants editor, and then of course you have stuff up here, like in the end game. There was like a collectible there, but you don't have to put your collectibles there, you know. Just make sure you make it at least believable with all the way that you mold your ground. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit escape so we can borrow some money. And I don't forgot how much it is, so we'll get like 400 grand, 400,000, just to make sure we have enough, hopefully. And that ought to be enough. Alright, so now we can escape, and then we can buy the building. We could just buy it. We can buy it at the wrench if we want, or you can buy it at the icon. I'll just go to the wrench to show you all about that. We'll go to the wrench. Here's the wrench to buy it. Hit R, and then hit yes, and you bought it. See, and it shows it up in the top right corner, so you can see it works. It says there's no active productions because we didn't put the. We gotta turn it on, so you gotta go and turn it on wherever you need to, which you could do it at the wrench, or you could come in here and then pick which ones you want it to do stuff with. So you would say planks activate, planks long activate, this wall activate, and the wood beam activate. And you need to, and it's going to put this little explanation point to say that there's missing material, which just means you need to add the stuff that makes it, like the wood, the tree, to make the plank. That's all that is. And then if you want to change it from storing to selling, or from selling to distributing, click change output mode. You can go to selling, distributing, or storing. If you put it on storing, it will do what it needs to do and make that, and spawn the woods or the pallets or whatever, however it spawns the planks. And if you don't, it'll just build them up. If you put it on distributing, right here, it'll just build up and store them. I don't know why they don't have it the opposite of that, but they don't. And if you just put it on selling, it would just sell them all. So once you have it on the whichever one you want, you're going to go back and you're going to get the tree, which in this case we're not going to have a tree, but we're going to spawn one with the power toolkit. So you would drive your truck wherever you pick a road to be, and you would come down here to this spot here, okay, and then you would put it here. So what I'm going to do is back up a little like that and hit F12 and spawn the tree. Okay, so wood, and then go to a tree. I'm going to go to this and hit OK, and you see it spawned. Uh-oh, it's not landing good. Well, maybe it's okay because we got to come over here. Come up here once you put your trees there. Let's make sure and see. And hit R, and it should sell it. There. And so that sells it. and once you sell it, it will if you got it on sale. My bad. You see it says running, and it's showing that they're making the planks. So if I was to speed this up, I don't think I put enough wood in there to do it. Let's put a little more wood in there, and then we'll speed it up and show you what it makes. Alright, so let's hit F12 and spawn some more wood. We'll go on and do some more of these. Let's just make a kind of a stack of them. Hopefully that's good enough. Should be. And then go sell it over here. Oh, there is the train. Let's watch it. See? And there goes your train. So if you set it up right, you can do your train. I made it go up a hill on purpose. I thought that would be fun. Alright. And then go up here and hit R. And it puts it in the thing, and it would have sold it if you needed it to sell. If you hadn't bought the building, it would have sold it. Alright, and you're going to come over here, because I think it spawns over here. It's been a while, but I think it spawns over here somewhere. So we'll stand over here somewhere. And then we'll speed up time. So, and you can see it's got the wood in there, the trees, and then it's going to be building these up. We're going to go speed up time. As soon as it lets me. And then we'll watch for what it does. You can see it's working quick. It shouldn't take too long. And I'm imagining it's going to be somewhere around here spawning, but we'll see. Let's come over a little bit in case some of it spawns somewhere else. Let's see what we get. We should, yep, there it goes. See it? Spawning over here. And just activate whichever one. There you go. And you can see it works. So all you had to do is what I showed you, and yours will work. And if you have an issue, you know, read the log information and find out what the error is, and then if you need help, just write me a comment and I'll do my best to help you. But you can see it's posting all this stuff up. It's just going to keep spawning wherever it lets it. And there we go. Then you would come and get it and take it to wherever you're going to use it at. There's also another sign up this way. I don't know if I put it at the level. Let's go see. I'm going to have to smooth this a little bit more. And we can come up, we can make a road come up from here. Right there. So you can drive down. But it looks good. You got the whole little place there. It's speeding up, so that's why all them shadows are doing that. So if we turn off that, it'll stop all that. When you speed it up, you're going to have that. Alright, let's go back. And now we can come back down here to the front area. Now this is has a spawn thing. I'm assuming that's like wood chips or something. I would have to double check that. You can hit F5. You can see it has the trigger. See here. So I think that's wood chips, but they spawned them over there. So I would have to verify. I'll verify that and then let y'all know. But we'll run down to the bottom because I don't have a trailer here, and I don't really want to go drive and get a trailer and bring it here and test it. But if there's another XML for that, then you need to add it, because I didn't look in the XML. So you need to add, if there's another little XML for that little spot, you need to add it. But I'll show you on the next video if it is or isn't, if you know, if there's an issue. But you can see we got everything. We got our little icons that we need. We got all our logs in place, and we're ready to go. But anyway, I'm going to call that a video here. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bell if you want to receive a notification every time I post a video. Goodbye, everybody.